Hi, welcome to YouTube channel, a clay dragon. So these are just ideas and how to get started. Pull it off like that, kind of nice twist. Should fit in your hand when you work with the clay, not too big because it gets a little too much in the beginning. Going back and forth, not for very long. Now I'm using my thumbs and my fingers to kind of pat it down. Notice how it's slowly getting longer. And now I'm going to focus on the ends so I can make it longer. It's called a taper, like a candle gets tapered back. So I'm going to twirl it a little bit too. Pull it, not pull, but just pat. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn the neck. Yep, there's a neck and a head. Great. It's pretty soft, so it's easy to push it around. And I'm going to pat with my thumb to mold it, to smooth it out too. Pat, and smooth it out. Kind of going back and forth. All right, so I'm going to place it down now on my foam board to see how it will work. Sculpture is constantly picking it up, turning it, and looking at it. So, I'm going to press down here because there's kind of a dip here for a dragon. And I'm going to press down here, but again, you can make it however you want. These are just some ideas, and I think there's a little bit of a dip between the eyes right there. Yeah, all right, what can I use? So I love using all kinds of tools. This is a little weak here, so what I'm going to do is snap this toothpick and I'm going to put it right in it. So if something starts to fall, you can take a toothpick and in the kiln it's just going to burn away. So that's nice and hidden. But don't forget it's there. So tap with the toothpick there and there. Yep, and there. Great. Awesome. I'm going to use a toothpick and now I'm going to use a popsicle stick and my fingers as well. Great. What else can I do? I think I'm going to pull out the thrills. It's really best to pinch out, pull out everything from one piece because it really is one whole. And now I'm going to use this. I think it's like a golf tee. That's kind of like for scales. I think it's working, but I'm also going to check out the popsicle stick and I'm pressing down from the tip and then letting go. I like that one. It looks cool. So I'm going to take my hands and make a triangle and then I'm going to turn it and kind of pinch it down. This is slip. So clay plus water is slip. Swish it around with a popsicle stick until it's kind of like a nice paste. I kind of say the consistency of toothpaste so you don't forget. And then wiggle it on. It's so important to wiggle it on. If you don't, it will pop off, especially if it's super thin compared to the thickness. I'll talk about that in another video. So here's my toothpick and I'm tightening it up and kind of getting rid of some of the slip and really making sure it's attached. You can play with this, turn it. And so here's some clay. I'm using my thumbs to flatten it out, make like a V with my fingers like I did with the scales for the wings. You can make it a little bit thinner if you want. And now what I want to do is I'm going to take some slip and I'm going to put it at the end. I notice I turned the end too, just kind of help it attach. And what I'm going to do is nicely press it down. But because this wants to be vertical and upright, it's going to flop right down. So I'm going to grab a piece of newspaper and prop it up until it dries, and that will help it. Okay, remember, do not take a piece of clay like this and just put it there without slip. It will fall off. And if it's really thin and you put it on a thick piece of clay, what's going to happen is it's going to eventually just pop right off. Yeah, you can roll it out and make it really, really long, but that's going to break as it goes through the process of the kiln and drying. So you can add slip to a very thin piece, but it still might break off because the thicker piece is going to dry slower than the thinner piece. So just to warn you about that, yeah, you just can't just add clay like this. It's going to add air pockets. Those air pockets are going to try to expand and come out of the clay when it's really, really hot in the kiln. So yeah, you're making something, you're having a good time, and next thing you know, it's really thick. This is thicker than your thumb. You just can't put this in the clay. It has air bubbles and air pockets in it. So this is a loop tool and you can hollow it out. And then what you can do after you hollow it out to give some space for the air bubbles to pop out when it's in the kiln, you just close it up and there you go. So it can work if you end up making something big like that. Just remember, if it's really small on a thick piece of clay or you didn't add slip, it's gonna fall off. Oh, and please don't forget to put your name on it. So put your clay where you're supposed to put it and clean up. So take the clay off the tools and you can just slide and glide it off of it like that in the slip jar. Put all the little pieces back in the slip jar. And then what you want to do is not put this on the floor. You're going to put it in the slip jar or the trash can and take a wet rag and scrub-a-dub-dub. Really clean this off. So thank you so much for tuning in, liking, and subscribing to my YouTube channel. Enjoy!